I'll go ahead and call to order this hearing of May 13th, 2025 for WLD 2024-048 Riverwalk at Lewis River Phase 2. My name is Joe Turner. I'm the city's hearings examiner. I'll start with some brief announcements and a summary of the process that will follow so everyone understands how you can participate in the hearing. I start by saying I'm not a city employee. I am licensed as an attorney and trained as a planner. I serve under contract to the City Council. I say that so you know you're getting a somewhat independent review of the application before me today. My role as the hearings examiner is to conduct public hearings and make decisions about certain land use matters in the City of Woodland. In making those decisions, I'm required to apply the city's existing laws. I am not a policymaker. I don't have the authority to vary from or change the laws. If you think that the laws need to be changed, you can work with City Council and Planning Commission to do that. But state law requires that this application be judged based on the laws in effect when the application was filed. As a hearings examiner, I'm to provide an unbiased decision maker, and I believe I am unbiased regarding the application before me. I have not had any pre-hearing contact with any of the parties regarding the substance of the application, and I don't have any interest in the subject property or any of the surrounding properties. Anyone has the right to challenge my impartiality, to argue that I'm biased in one way or another, and you can do that when it's your opportunity to testify. Procedure will follow. I'll start by asking staff to summarize their staff report, copies of which are available on the city's website. And the applicant will have the opportunity to present their proposal and respond to the staff report. If anybody else wants to say something about this application in support, in opposition, or with questions or concerns, they may do so. Once everyone's had an initial opportunity to testify, I'll give staff and the applicant alone the opportunity to respond to the testimony that was offered. If those responses include any new evidence, I will give everyone a chance to respond to the new evidence. Otherwise, I'll close the public portion of the hearing and announce what I'm going to do without taking any additional public testimony. Is there anybody online? I didn't think so, just wanted to check. So when you testify, please come on up to the podium so we know you're on a microphone. Please begin by stating your name and full mailing address. Please spell your last name so I get it right. And if you represent someone else, please say so. There's no arbitrary limit to the length of time you could testify, but testimony should be relevant to the approval criteria. And that pretty much can... Oh, it's important that all parties make their best case to me. My decisions are final for purposes of the city, but may be appealed to Superior Court. However, the court generally will not allow new testimony and evidence on appeal. They'll decide any appeal based on the record before me. So if you feel that myself or any future decision makers should know something about this application, you need to make sure it gets into the record before me. In order to preserve your right to appeal, you or someone expressly representing you must testify orally or in writing before the close of the record. And in order to raise an issue on appeal, someone must have raised that issue with enough specificity that people can understand what it is. If anyone feels they need more time to prepare, they can ask me to hold the record open or continue the hearing. If I hold the record open, you'll have the opportunity to submit additional written testimony and evidence before I make a decision. If I continue the hearing, we'll come back and do this again at a later date. But if anybody wants me to hold the record open or continue the hearing, you must make that request before the close of the hearing today. That concludes my introduction. Mr. Goddard, you want to start us out?
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. For the record, my name is Travis Goddard. I'm the Community Development Director for the City of Woodland, and with me is our Permit Technician and Code Enforcement Officer, Bretta Butler, and Engineering Technician, Catherine Mickelbust, in case you have questions for either of them. So the project that we're here for, as you mentioned, includes a subdivision and a shoreline substantial development permit. Therefore, your decision will be the city's final action, and it'll go to the Department of Ecology for acceptance of the final shoreline. The vicinity map is shown here. There's an existing Phase 1 subdivision to the west, and the site itself is between that subdivision and the Lewis River. It's approximately 9.6 acres, zoned LDR 7.2, which is 7,200 square feet minimum lot size, or I should shouldn't say that, 7,200 square feet. 17 single-family residential lots are being proposed, as long as recreation open space tracts, some private driveways which will be connected in the middle, and extension of Salmon and Spruce Streets, or effectively an extension of Spruce Street, so we'll have a discussion about that probably as we go along. Subdivision lot sizes, as I mentioned, it's a 7,200 square foot minimum, but they can have smaller lots. Minimum lot width 70 feet, building height 35 feet, 25 units per acre maximum. They're nowhere near that. Oh, and I'm sorry, I should have removed that last bullet because they're not doing townhomes, but as proposed, the proposal meets all the standards as outlined in the staff report. I do need to make a correction to finding number 80. It's not a significant one, and that is, it says all lots meet, but in fact there is one undersized lot. It is 6,591 square feet, so it is undersized, but it is larger than 6,000 square feet, which is, you can go as small as 6,000 square feet as long as the average lot size is over 7,200. So I think I put the smallest lot size was about 7,202, but I missed that smaller lot size, but it doesn't make a difference because it still meets the standards for the subdivision. It is in the floodplain of the Lewis River. A large portion of the site is actually above floodplain. And I bring this up because when phase 1 went through, they did not have the flood review or the channel migration zone information that was done. So a note was placed on the face of the plat that even though there were a lot of lots in that blue zone on this map, that all lots would go through the floodplain review. And that was at the request of the applicant. They wanted to postpone it to building permit phase because it was just post-COVID and they didn't want to spend any more money. So that condition was attached to the phase 1. That is not applicable for phase 2. And so there are only theoretically a couple lots at the very south end that would be subject to floodplain review. And I've had discussion with the applicant, and they are looking at potential LOMARs to revise the map so that they wouldn't have to get flood insurance. And that's purely optional. I would accept either an elevation certificate or a LOMAR for those lots if they choose to. But it's not a condition of the subdivision. The floodway is to the west, or I'm sorry, to the east of the buildable lot area, and so it is included in the tract. And specifically, the activities that can occur in the floodway is access, storage, and parking, and their recreation and open space tract does not provide anything except for access. There is an existing shed down there that theoretically will have to be removed, but that doesn't necessarily have to be a condition of approval for the subdivision. And the floodway will not be affected by the project. So the critical areas are covered in the staff report. I agree with the critical area evaluation that was prepared for this project, that there are 2 gravel roads, and I have a couple pictures of those that do functionally isolate it. There's also a big bench down below to the east of that eastmost driveway that includes some water that you'll see in the photos here in a minute, and it also functionally isolates the critical area that's down below that bench, below the lot development sites. So I've shown arrows here, so these are the pictures I'm going to show you real quick. And I haven't brought this up to the applicant yet, but I did want to bring these up because I wanted to discuss some clarifications for the final engineering, final plat process that I would like them to cover. So the first picture here on the left is, again, topmost window, or topmost arrow, and then we'll move down to the south as I walk through the site. So on the left you can see this is the northern driveway that goes down to the river. You can see it cuts through the existing trees, and this is part of what functionally isolates it. And then on the right is the driveway that functionally isolates the wetland and the slope, but you get an idea here of where the development pads are up here. They're actually off to the right, and you can see how it drops down a considerable amount down to the left. And then on this slide, sorry, I'm almost at the same spot, but looking towards the left side of that photo, and you can see that behind those tall trees is the water body where the backwater comes onto this site from off-site, and so that is considered ordinary high water mark of the Lewis River, and it is considered wetland, but it is functionally isolated by that road. So their proposed plan is essentially put all of the critical area in the open space tract, and so that's why I wanted to show you what it looked like. But you can see that dry spot over in the middle is a perched arm of the site, and it is actually outside of city limits, but it's in the floodway, so they can't put any structures or any development out there. So it'll be encumbered by the critical area open tract. The one thing I wanted to point out that I hadn't talked to them before, and that is there are multiple tracks on the site plan, and they look like they align to lot lines. And so if they are going to do multiple tracks, there needs to be an open space or access easement for the homeowners association or the various owners that are going to have access to the site. Otherwise, nobody would be able to actually use those access points because it crosses the tract lines. So I just like that cleared up, how they want to do that as part of the final platting.
And you want a condition to that effect, or is there one?
That would be up to you. I'm comfortable with that, but I'm also comfortable doing that as part of the final engineering process.
Okay.
Because we're going to ask them, and the Public Works Director won't sign it unless he's comfortable.
Okay. I think I'll leave it to final engineering then.
Okay.
You've got the authority to make sure it happens.
Yep. Okay, so the big issue is transportation. The cul-de-sacs need to be a little bit bigger by code. They need to be a radius of 45 feet from the edge of curb to edge of center to edge of curve, and I think they're just a little bit, so that might require a little bit minor changes. And I think they had asked for rolled curbs, and I think the Public Works Director is going to be open to that if they do the larger curb radius. Internal private driveways have been accepted by Clark County Fire Rescue once they install a Knox box so that they can do a through connection.
Oh, there'll be a fence,
Yep.
a gate between, okay.
Yep. Otherwise, it becomes a through street, and it would have to be built to city standards. So they're looking for smaller development standards because they are limited. And fire's concern is just that there's connectivity. They don't have to back out in an emergency.
Makes sense.
They need to comply with Clark County Fire Rescue approvals for the fire code. So ultimately, their final engineering plans are going to have to be signed by Clark County Fire Rescue as part of the final engineering process. So just putting them on notice. Utilities will be extended they are extended through phase 1, so it's just going to be an extension of the utilities that they installed previously. So the stormwater is internal collection system, and that final stormwater design will be part of the final engineering process. Erosion control is proposed, and it will need to meet current standards. I have a note there that there were some issues, but when I was on the site yesterday, I identified some issues with the street, and they've actually gone out and cleaned it up by this morning, so we appreciate their cooperation, and they're aware of it. Floodplain review will be required on the structures, as I discussed earlier, so they could do a LOMAR or elevation certificates for those lots. So schools, they will be mitigated, impacts to the schools will be mitigated by impact fees. Parks and Recreation, they will also be paying Park and Rec impact fees, but they have their own on-site open space tract. Fire protection, so they will need fire hydrants and pay impact fees, and then the police protection is going to be covered by a levy that was recently started in the last few years, so those impacts will be considered. And the Department of Ecology had submitted some issues which were addressed. They're pretty standard stuff that have been addressed to conditions of approval, that they'll need any kind of MPDES discharge or disturbance permits. We're just requiring that they obtain those before they do the work. And then fish and wildlife, again, addressed through the open space tract preservation, and conditions also to do maintenance of invasive species. And then the other thing I wanted to point out, and that is, wasn't in the staff report, but when they're talking about dealing with the trail and cross-access, just that vegetation maintenance, if it's going, I'm assuming, having been out there and walked it, there's a lot of area that could be mowed, that it be done by small vehicular mowers instead of any kind of major equipment. And that, I think, is it. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions as outlined in the staff report. And if you have any questions for me.
Mostly clarification questions, but they are requesting a minor variance for the lot coverage, and I didn't see any findings about any criteria for that either.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry about that. I can do a follow-up, but they had a previous variance for the first subdivision.
I saw that.
As well, and the argument would be the same, and that is they're looking to do one-story homes, and that the lot coverage will be covered. The soils in this area are fine, so there was no reason why we wouldn't recommend approval of the second variance as well.
That's what I figured. They wanted to check. In the last one, they're requesting it for single-story homes. Is there a condition that they limit the development to single-story to be consistent with what they're proposing? The variance, rather?
Yes, that's a good point. So I would leave them to answer that, whether that's still consistent, but I didn't think of that condition.
Given what you said, there's going to be no fill in the floodplain at all, or if there is, they'll have to go through a process to do that. My question was if there needed to be a no net rise certificate, but I assume that would be addressed if it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they can address that with the LOMAR.
Okay.
FEMA would consider that.
Page 5 and 7, there's just, the language used, I think, was just raised an issue. Finding 17 says they'll be constructing a public access path to the river for the owners, and then elsewhere it says something to that effect on page 11 for the residential units. That's a public access. It's not limited to the residences.
I would ask them to clarify that.
Okay, because my understanding that your code or your shoreline provisions require that public access, which limiting it to the residents isn't really public access, is it?
So we have been, the city has a record of doing both.
Okay. Okay, I'll see what the applicant has to say on that one. Page 10, I just wasn't clear. I think I see where you're going, but I think it's just a typo. Finding 37, about the middle, it says, since the site of the subdivision, a water-dependent use is not feasible. That's the extent of the sentence.
Yes, so on the use of water-dependent uses, they would not be feasible because it is a floodway before you can actually get to the river. So in this case, there is a separation between the ordinary high water mark and the development. So the development of any actual water-dependent use would have to occur in the floodway.
That last thing you said. Page 11 is also a typo. Finding 41's about halfway through says, but since this 10 feet setback is within the open space tracts, this setback will be shown, provided it is shown as identified in the preliminary plat. I'm assuming you're just saying they have to show this 10-foot setback, like they have already?
Yes.
Okay.
And it'll be shown in the tract, but just to make sure that they're outside of that 10 feet
Got
in
it.
addition
Okay.
to the,
I don't know that I don't think I need to do anything further there. It does say what I thought it said. Finding 42, I think this is just a typo. There is mapped wetland on the west side. You said the same thing in your summary. It's on the wetlands on the east. And if we get it into the record, we've corrected it. I don't have to do anything else.
that's the problem with Lewis River Road turning north, south, east, and west.
I know. Okay. Second issue. Page 19 requires frontage improvements on Lewis River Road, but it doesn't look like they have any frontage on Lewis River Road.
I'm sorry, that must be a holdover from the Riverwalk Phase 1.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah. I should have changed that to have been completed and are accepted by DOT.
Okay. By phase one?
Yes.
And page 20 is just a carryover. You corrected it on your presentation, but it says standards for townhomes on individually owned lots. The 7,200 square foot average lot size that you referenced, that still applies. It doesn't apply just to townhomes.
It does. We have two sections that overlap, and in this case, the townhome section doesn't apply.
But the 7,200 square foot average does apply.
It does.
Okay. That's because that finding was in there. I wanted to make sure I was understanding.
Yep.
Those are the only questions I had. Thank you. Applicant is well represented. Who's going to appear?
Sure. Andy Nutbrock with McKay Esposito, Nuttebrock, 18405 Southeast Mill Plain Boulevard, Suite 100, Vancouver, 98683. We read through the staff report. Our only comment were two things that were brought up. One is the public access. They're hoping to keep it to residences just because the streets are so small and they don't want a bunch of parking all over the place for the general population to clog up the roads. And then the second that was brought up was the lot coverage. They're hoping that the single and two-story homes are allowed within the 6,500 feet. Sorry, 65%.
Would the applicant be okay if the lot coverage, you had to comply with the lot coverage if it's a two-story home, but you can have the variance if it's a single story?
We can ask the applicant. My discussion with him was that he would hope to have the 65% for both.
Okay. And how does the two-story home meet the variance criteria then?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
If you want to talk to your client,
Sure.
go ahead.
Yeah.
And is that the only issues you had?
Yeah, that was the only two.
Okay. For the record, does anybody else want to say anything about this application? Not seeing anybody? We can take a short recess if you want, or I'll just wait till they finish their discussion.
Yeah, it sounds like single story 65%, two story 50%.
Cool. For the single story, or two-story. Yes.
And if that's the case, it would be nice to have a note for that on the face of the plat.
Okay. Just a note is sufficient.
Yes.
The note would be a condition of approval. We don't need a specific condition.
Yep.
Okay.
Because there is a section which talks about the setbacks and the height limits, and I want to say it's condition 10. And
Okay. What about anything further from the city? What about the public versus limiting it to the residents' public access? The city's done it both ways, and
yes, so my preference would be that it be open to the public, and that it's understandable the concern about the parking. especially given the fact that there are no crosswalks on 503, so the idea of people walking across, I could understand that. But having it for the residents only wouldn't be inconsistent with previous approvals.
Yeah, it seems like the use of the term public in the shoreline ordinance means public. Everybody can use it.
Yeah.
So that seems to be what's the intent there, but if the applicant has any argument to the contrary, I understand the concern, but not sure we can't ignore the code, obviously.
If you would like additional input, I could do some research on the subdivision that I believe where it was kept private. I can look into the record and see what's in there, and maybe if you want to leave an open record, I can prepare something for
I'd
you.
be happy to do that unless the applicant.
Yes.
Is that okay with the applicant? Do you want to do that, or do you want to just allow public?
Why don't we'll discuss it, and then so let's leave it open for a minute, and then we'll.
Okay, so we'll just pause again.
We'll make that and you send us your information.
Okay, so you want me to hold the record open?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. I'm happy to do that. Mr. Goddard, since we're holding the record open anyway, can you submit some findings about the variance so I can just fold those in? I recall the discussion in Riverwalk Phase 1, and it makes sense to grant a variance again in this case for the same basis, subject to that condition that is limited to, 2 stories are limited to the current standard. It only applies to single story. But how long do we need to hold the record open for? Should we do 2 weeks, and a week for the city and a week for your response, and you can get it sooner, or can we?
Yeah, the minimum is possible.
Yeah, if you can get it sooner, I don't want to put any more pressure
This
on you.
Friday would be fine.
Okay.
For me.
Okay. And
We should be able to return off that quickly.
so
4 days and a week.
that works for me. What's today? Tuesday? So Tuesday for your response?
Tuesday, 1 week from today, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to get my calendar to give you some specific dates. But I'm going to close the hearing and hold the record open as just requested. So today's the 13th. I'll hold it up until the 16th of May for the city to provide those findings about the variance and to provide the prior approval that addressed the public limited to the residents' access. So the 16th of May, and then till the 20th of May, next Tuesday, for the applicant to respond on that issue. And then I will issue my decision within 2 weeks after that, which would be July 3rd. And I'll send my decision to the city. The city will send it to party of the record.